Okay, I'm going to call to order the Temecula City Council meeting for November 12th, 2024. Our city manager, Aaron Adams, is going to do the invocation, and I'll do the flag salute. So would you please stand?
Would you please bow your head with me? Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for living and working in what we consider to be a blessed city on so many levels. Lord, we just ask your hand to be on this meeting this evening. Lord, we just ask for wisdom, discernment for the city council and the decisions before them. I pray for protection and guidance and wisdom for the city staff. I pray for protection, Lord, for our men and women that are serving and the police and fire and our first responders. Lord, just continue to wrap your arms around this great city and bless it immensely. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, would you please join me in the pledge to the flag of this great nation? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Madam City Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Alexander.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas.
Here.
Councilmember Schwank.
Here.
And Mayor Stewart.
Here. All right, so now we have presentations. These are certificates of recognition for families hosting students from the Temecula sister city of Dyson, Japan. So Mr. Richard Scott is here. So would you please come up and I'll meet you down there.
The other person that was supposed to come, and she was at the museum. So I just texted her we're at City Hall. So anyway, my name is Richard Scott, and I'm the chair of the Temecula Sister City Association, and I applied for certificates of recognition from the city for the families that served as host families for the student exchange at the end of July. So this evening, we have the Bailey family in attendance. So we have, please stand. We have, let me look on my list. We have Mari and Michael and Athena. So come on up, please. Bailey. Yes.
All right, so here's your certificate from the city of Temecula for your service to the Sister City program. So please spin around so they can get a shot of you. Come up, Richard.
Oh, come up, okay. And the other family that may or may not arrive by the time you and I are done up here is the Bourne family. And Kyoko Bourne is a Japanese native, and she has a young son, and they hosted one of the middle school students' boys who also had a young brother that was the same age as their son. So anyway, they're here. And I would also like to recognize Karen Igo, who's a member of the Sister City Association, and she planned, organized, and led the exchange for that 10-day period that they were here. So Karen Igo is over here.
So come on down, Karen.
Come on down. And Frank.
You probably were the taxi driver?
Yeah.
Most of the time. Yes.
Okay.
Scoot more towards the middle.
Okay, so. Do you want to recognize the other families? Do you want me to
Yes.
mention them? Or then the
Well,
city will forward those?
Why don't you go
certificates to
ahead
them.
and mention all the other families
Okay.
that were.
Okay. So one of our host families was Jordan and Jason Andrikovich, and they were the last host family that I was able to find, and they ended up rounding out the whole delegation. So we also had 3 adults come from Dyson and 6 students, and the adults were housed with one with Karen, one with Mark and Carol Jones, and one with Nancy Young.
Maybe you can explain into the mic, what does a host family actually do?
Okay, for the student exchange, Karen had activities planned during most of the days. They went to Wild Animal Park, they toured City Hall, they did the city breakfast where you had a chance to see their presentation. They went to the Senior Center, they went to the Vale Ranch History Center. So they did some activities around town. They went to a Storm baseball game, and on the weekends was family time. So the host families had time to get to know the students on a little more personal basis.
And that's really the purpose of the
That's
Sister
exactly
City
the
program, is to actually interact with each other's culture. So we went over there, experienced the Japanese culture, and they came over here. In fact, we have an adult group that's coming over
First
next
week in
month.
December.
Yeah. So we're going to house them and give them the Temecula experience, the California experience. And so that's what the value is in this relationship, is for each culture to kind of rub off on the other.
To get to know each other.
Yeah, exactly. So
And Stu's going to host one of the adult visitors
Yes.
when he comes, the mayor from Dyson.
yes.
And I'm going to host the person that hosted Stu when he was in Dyson.
Ah,
So
Oh, I didn't
Mr.
realize he was
Sumi is
coming.
the Board of Education, or the
Yes.
Education Director.
all right, very
So
cool.
anyway, so we're
Okay.
continuing on the path. Okay,
Yes.
we have the Neary family, Jennifer and Jason Neary. They hosted, I guess it doesn't matter if I say whose name it is, but they hosted Leo Tanaka, and she's a school district employee in town, and they had time to enjoy their students' time with them. And the other host families that
Richard?
were not,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Into
Can
the
we have you
microphone?
talk into the microphone so we can capture it?
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
for the TV. I can do this one, it's okay. So 2 other families, John and Alicia Meyer, and Clarissa Lee and her family were also hosts of the students that came. And the final family that may or may not arrive is the Kyoko and Ron Bourne family. So they all had a chance to get to know these students who had come, and had a chance to, like Stu said, have a little Japanese culture rub off on them. So anyway, that's great. So I think the city will mail the ones that don't get picked up. So are you in charge of those, or is
I'll hand
Randy
them
in
off
charge
to-
of
I think
those?
the family just walked in as well.
Oh,
Okay, here we go.
which one of those?
Oops. This one's missing in. There we go. Hello, how are you? This is the Bourne Homa family, and Kyoko and Hugh. Is it Hugh, or, yeah? Okay. And so they hosted one of the Dyson students who came, who happened to have a little brother that's about Hugh's age, so he had a commonality with them. So thank you for coming, and it's time for a photo opportunity. Okay. So I'll
And
leave
what's
those-
really amazing is now with all the translators, that we have, that you can put on your phone, to communicate with someone from a totally different culture is so easy nowadays. Whereas before, I went 5 years ago, and there was no such thing, and it was very difficult communicating with our host family. But being able to speak into that, and then immediately it translates to Japanese, was fantastic. So it's a very cool experience.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Thank you, Richard.
And thank you.
so now we're off to board and commission reports. So we'll start with planning and Bob Hagel.
Good evening. This report's from October 2nd, which was our last meeting, and we reviewed a conditional use permit for a Type 47 ABC license for Landeros Mexican Grill and Cantina located on 41925 Fifth Street. They've been at that location for a number of years and had been serving beer and wine without any incident. There was one public speaker on this item who spoke in favor of the application. The commission voted 5-0 to approve the application. The second item from October 2nd was reviewed a development plan for an approximately 64,051 square foot Paradise Chevrolet commercial truck dealership that includes rooftop parking, sales, service, parts storage located at 42105 Dealer Drive. There were no public speakers. The item was approved 5-0. And just to mention that this is the first full GMC truck dealership in the United States. There are other service dealers and there are other sales dealers, but no one does them both. So this will be the first right here in Temecula. And that concludes my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Seeing none, we'll go on to Traffic Safety Commission with David Maddox.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and neighbors. Good to be with you all this evening. So the Temecula Traffic Safety Commission meets on the fourth Thursday of each month to discuss traffic safety education, engineering, and enforcement. And your commissioners for 2024 have been Eric Ackerman, Skip Carter, J.R. Richardson, Vice Chair Brad Sullivan, and myself. At our last meeting on October 24th, we had one item on the consent calendar to approve the action minutes. That passed with a vote of 4-0. Next, we reviewed the city's recent grant applications. So the Highway Safety Improvement Program is a competitive federal grant program. It's now in its 12th cycle of funding. And the purpose of that program is to fund local road safety projects. So city staff submitted 2 projects this year. First is an expansion of the fiber optic communications network. So this is going to allow the city to expand our traffic signal timing coordination program, and will also allow us to make operational adjustments instantaneously from the traffic control center here in City Hall. And the second HSIP project that we submitted was under the Pedestrian Safety Set-Aside Program. So it's a special subcategory of HSIP that requires only a 10% local match in funding. And the federal parts of all these grants are completely debt-free. We don't have to pay any of that back. So the city is requesting the maximum amount of $350,000 to accelerate our ADA transition program. That program, of course, was born from a planning initiative back in 2018 where the city took an inventory of all of our sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalks, identified the gaps in those, and if we are awarded this grant, this is going to allow us to install ADA supportive ramps at several intersections across the city. And we're going to prioritize those based on their proximity to schools. So these applications are all submitted. The commission received and filed that report, and we anticipate that funding decisions are going to be announced in March of next year. All right, and then finally, on to our next item. This was another federal grant that we reviewed, and this is one that the city has already been awarded. So Safe Streets for All was established by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. It's very similar to HSIP in terms of the goal, which is to fund local road safety. And the city was awarded what's known as a planning grant. So this is to create a comprehensive safety plan, which is essentially an update and an upgrade to our local road safety plan. The new plan is going to collect more comprehensive crash data than we've ever had before. It's going to make the city eligible to apply for SS4A implementation grants, which are the actual construction grants. And it's going to make us even more competitive in the HSIP program and in other federal aid programs more generally. So to summarize, I think the ultimate goal that we all have here is that we want to bring as much state and federal tax revenue as we can back to Temecula, where it can be reinvested in public safety. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions? All right, so we'll move on to our public safety report with Captain Crater.
Good evening, Division Chief Crater.
Chief Crater. I got corrected up here.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and our beautiful city of Temecula residents. For the month of October, your firefighters ran 885 calls for service in the city limits. Out of those, 7 were fires, 87 were traffic collisions, and 653 of those were medical emergencies. Year to date, we're at 8,758 calls, and we're on pace to run about 10,000 calls in the city for this year. We'll have those numbers at our December meeting. Also, just getting out in the community, a lot of community service, a lot of events done by our firefighters in October as we come into the holiday season. But we did do 3 CPR classes for the community, also 2 Stop to Bleed classes and first aid classes. Next slide. As far as prevention, just keeping the wheels running in the city with all the plan checks, the construction we have going on. Plan checks in October for us was 598, construction inspections 575, annual and state mandated inspections 405, and then we had 36 people come into City Hall and do business with us in October. Next slide. On the emergency management front, busy, a lot of things going on. We had the Great American Shakeout happen. With that, we conducted inspections and kind of drills at all 11 of our facilities in the city to see how we're doing. They went well. Also, we did a adult CERT course and graduated 18 students. Emergency management CERT is also working on a deployment plan and have finished it probably by the end of the week, where we have our CERT trailers deployed throughout the city, so we have an emergency, they're more evenly dispersed instead of all in one location. And then the city has its first disaster debris management plan that's been approved by the city council. In case we do have a disaster in the city, we're able to leverage outside contractors, and they're all in place, and we're not looking around for help. We already have a list, and it's here to be able to open our roads back up and get services back to the community. For our Temecula Citizen Corps, if you're interested in becoming a member, we have almost 50 members now. We're always looking for more. Hours for last month, or in October, were 761. We have a total of 48 TCC volunteers. They had 2 meetings. And we also, on that side of the house for preparedness, did 1 community presentation and 2 community trainings. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any
Oh,
questions?
some pictures. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
That's us doing our shakeout, doing our training. There's your CERT team with the fire department, getting out in the community and making things happen.
Well, I do want to point out the CERT team, because that is a volunteer group of citizens who have taken time out of their weekends and schedules to participate in all these events that prepare them in case of an emergency. And so when our first responders are tied up with some really serious stuff, they can handle a lot of these smaller issues and actually prep the scene for when they show up. They're able to do their job much more efficiently. And so, and that's the cool part about those CERT trailers too, is there, I think we have 6 of them.
There's 6.
Yeah, so that also creates a mobile command post for these CERT teams to set up for our first responders to show up and be able to communicate and have instant connection with our citizens in whatever situation that they're dealing with. So I highly recommend if you're retired or you just got a lot of spare time that you would like to do something for the city, this is a great opportunity to serve your city. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're off to public comments.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have a few public comments and a few comments on the consent calendar first as well. First, I would like to acknowledge there are a lot of students in the chambers, and at 7 o'clock, while we encourage you, you are welcome to stay for the entire city council meeting if you would like. At 7 o'clock, a staff member will be available in the lobby to give you attendance slips should you not wish to stay. So I just want to go ahead and let them know because we have an unusually large amount. With that, we have 3 comments on non-agendized items and 2 comments on consent item number 8. The first speaker is Whip. The second speaker is Laurel Lamont. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes.
How will I know?
You will
There's a
have,
clock right in front of you.
there's a clock
Oh,
in front of
great.
you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we meet again.
Yes.
We met at Trunk or Treat.
Yes, we did.
I'm with BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. First of all, we are not a motorcycle club. We are not a 1% club. We are a 501c3 volunteer organization. We all pay our own way to empower children not to feel afraid of the world in which they live once they've been abused. The way we do that is by showing up. We start by having a meeting with the parents or the legal guardian and the child. We never know what happened to that child except one person who is our child liaison. In a sense, we don't care what happened to that child. What we care about is that child is empowered to do what that child needs to do when they go to court. So we will have the child pick their own road name, because we never know the child's real name. We do that because it empowers them, and that's the start of the empowerment. From there, we'll go to court with them. We'll stand outside their house 24 hours a day if there's an imminent threat by the perpetrator. I've been on 5 of those. We stand there until the threat's gone. Longest has been in California, 10 days. In Europe, 2 months. We are in 47 states, 18 foreign countries, soon to be 19 once we translate everything into Croatian. We throw a child party once a year. We've used the Temecula ice rink for one of those parties. And we will throw another party if there's enough interest with the children and the parents. All of our members and supporters are background checked. They have to clear before they can do anything with the children. We appreciate the VFW because we've been meeting there since 2016. We appreciate the fact that you give us time to tell you about our organization. The hardest thing we have is to find the children that need us. Once we find them, there's a 80 to 90% chance that they will testify in court and be empowered. Thanks for your attention. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Laurel Lamont, to be followed by Gary Audi.
Hi, all right, my name's Laurel Lamont, and I represent Upward Community, and I'm very excited to be here tonight. I want to update everybody on attainable homeownership in Temecula, specifically council, and I'm very much looking forward to Temecula being fully represented and all those seats up there being filled. That's very exciting. Okay, a wise woman, Melissa Bourbonnais, told me and tells me frequently, repetition is the key to learning. So I'm here to highlight all the things we've accomplished since coming to the table with the city. Just as a reminder, the illegal parking fees were refunded because Melissa and I brought that to the city's attention, and we helped to get illegal parking fees in affordable housing refunded to tenants. Parking permits during city events. We also brought that to the city's attention and got parking permits for the affordable housing tenants that live in Old Town. New laundry machines at Warehouse at Creekside. During COVID, they were coin operated and we couldn't get coins. So Upward Community and Melissa and myself helped to get new laundry machines so that coins were not necessary to do the laundry. New windows, because of the noise above the bars and nightclubs in which the affordable housing is located. With the help of us and the city, we got new windows put in at Warehouse at Creekside. Without our work, the city hasn't recognized it, so I'm recognizing it publicly. All that work was done because of Upward Community, myself, and Melissa coming to the table and highlighting things that were not made aware of without the lived experience. There's a lot more work to be done. I just recently moved into a 2-bedroom at Warehouse at Creekside. It has a laundry machine and a dishwasher, neither of which work, but I'm very grateful for that roof over my head. Today, I also had a fantastic meeting with North County or North Bay Housing Trust and a developer. And we learned lots of great things, and they're very excited to work with us and hopefully bring a land trust to Temecula. So stay tuned. This next year should be super exciting.
Thank you. The next speaker is Gary Audie, to be followed by Jennifer Evans.
Good evening, Mayor Stewart, council, staff. I'm here on behalf of Bike Temecula Valley, a coalition of community members who advocate for safe streets and active lifestyles. We are active in the valley, but have forged our best partnership with the city of Temecula. We have been collaborating on multiple projects, to name a few: Caught with Your Helmet On, Ride the Vines charity cycling event, Halloween Spooktacular Decorations Ride, Holiday Lights Ride, TVUSD Bike Safety Program, Temecula Active Transportation Community Advisory Panel, and we support Sunrise Rotary and cycle through the vineyards and their Veterans Day ride. I would like to thank the city of Temecula for supporting this year's Ride the Vines. First, moving to Town Square was a significant upgrade for the event. Though the nearly 200 riders enjoyed some great routes, we look forward to next year as we will highlight Temecula's wonderful Class 1 trails that were not available due to construction this year. 24 nonprofits supported the event, and BTV donated back over $7,000 to local nonprofits, with Mission Hope being the main beneficiary. We had 15 local vendors and encouraged nearly 300 volunteers, including local youth, performing artists, and school bands. Ride the Vines was a successful event, providing the city with a healthy family activity while attracting people to Old Town and giving back to those in need. As far as safety, Caught with Your Helmet On collected and distributed 500 helmets to local first responders for kids who need helmets, and together with BTV's youth program, we have participated in multiple safety events and assemblies at local elementary and middle schools. Finally, BTV has participated in collaboration with TVUSD, the City of Temecula, school resource deputies, Temecula PD, and CHP to develop a bike and e-bike safety program. So as you can see, we continue to work together with you to build on our silver bike-friendly community, and more importantly, to provide a safe Temecula where we can enjoy a great quality of life. Thank you again for all of your support, and mark your calendar for the Holiday Lights Ride on December 14th. Dust off that old Schwinn and Beach Cruiser, put some lights on it. We'll see you out there. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jennifer Evans, to be followed by our last speaker, Robert Sweeney.
Good evening, Mayor Stu, and also City Council and the beautiful residents of Temecula. My name is Jennifer Evans. I'm the program manager at Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center, where we believe no one should face cancer alone. This is the month of gratitude, and I'm simply here to say thank you for your support. We love traffic safety. You guys helped us make sure that for our 8th annual Walk of Hope, we could take Promenade Mall and make sure that over 1,500 walkers, 70 local vendors, 100 registered cars for our first car show ever, and also 150 volunteers were there to make sure we were supporting our community that is not only fighting cancer, surviving cancer, thriving cancer, but we also memorialize those that we've lost to cancer. On top of that, we want to make sure that we thank you for considering us for the CID grant. The CID grant that you guys consider is for our Purple Ribbon Assistance. These are for families that are in active treatment. Mom, dad, or even the child is in active treatment. And therefore, we're giving them gift cards to make sure that their families get nutritious food. We're taking care of Christmas joy, Thanksgiving baskets, and back-to-school items for them. So for my organization to this city, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do to make sure that no one faces cancer alone. And for a Southern girl, I am so excited to report to the East Coast that I live in the best city in the United States. Thank you so much.
The last speaker is Robert Sweeney.
Hello, I am Bob Sweeney, the president of the Rotary Club of Temecula. Thank you for having me, Mayor Stu and fellow council there. We wanted to, on behalf of the club, thank you for your consideration on the CSF funding to help fund that holiday program that we do through Temecula Valley Unified School District to help feed families in the Temecula during the holiday season, provide them with food baskets as well. And I just am here to say thank you as well. And it's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes public comments on non-agendized items and the consent calendar.
All right, so now we're going to go to council comments. And so let's start with Mr. Schwank down at the end.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple slides. If we could just put up I think the skate park slide maybe first. All right, so we have a new skate park coming to Long Canyon Creek Park. It's actually already built, and folks are already skating it, but we're going to do a ribbon cutting this Saturday, November 16th at 10 a.m. I encourage the community to come out. This is directly across from Day Middle School, if that makes this a little bit easier, if you're wondering where Long Canyon Creek Park is. Over the last few years, we've tried to add amenities like this into neighborhood parks so that the folks that live in and around these areas don't always have to go to the big skate park or the big sports park. They're able to go to their neighborhood park. And while we renovate the main skate park at Ronald Reagan Sports Park, this will be a nice fill-in amenity for folks so they still have an opportunity to skate. So I know many of the skate shops will be out there on Saturday, and look forward to see the community at large out there as well. So see you there. And then if you could put up the other slide. So I want to use this opportunity to use my voice here to help support a Temecula family. This is Sam York. If any of you know the Yorks, Mr. York is a teacher at Barnett Elementary School. My son had him in 4th grade, and they need your help. I'm going to read just a little bit, and that QR code, you're able to scan that as well. But I'm going to read a little bit of what the family wrote and how you can help.
So they say our son, Sam York, a vibrant 15-year-old who loves playing soccer, creating spray paint art, and experimenting in the kitchen as an aspiring chef, now faces his own mountain to climb. On October 26, 2024, Sam was diagnosed with leukemia. With the expertise of his medical team at Radius Children's Hospital in San Diego, the love and devotion of our family, and the support of our friends and community, Sam has begun the long, difficult journey towards healing. He's showing immense strength and courage as he fights for remission, but he cannot do this alone. And so the family is asking for your help. For children like Sam who are battling blood cancers, a cure does exist. A blood stem cell donation from a matching donor can save a life. Unfortunately, Sam does not have a full match within his family, so they're turning to the National Marrow Donor Program in search of a suitable donor. That's where you come in. You could be the one to save Sam's life by joining this blood stem cell donor registry. You might become the life-saving match for Sam and another patient in need. I know some of you maybe even know the Yorks. I'm seeing them in the community often advocating for their son, fighting for his life. And if you have the ability to try to be part of this donor registry, it'd be important. Unfortunately, for anyone over 41, I believe, they're not able to be accepted. So this is we need the younger generation to step up and try to help Sam and his family out. So take the time and see if you are a match for Sam. I know they'd appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Miss Alexander, nothing? Oh, wow. All right, so I do have a couple of things. So first slide, please. All right, Christmas tree lighting. It's Monday, December 7th. It's at the Duck Pond. It's always a very, very cool event. Can be literally and figuratively, so bundle up. And but it's a cool small town experience. So if you're around Monday night, show up. Next slide, please. The electric parade, it was on Friday. So Monday, you could do the tree lighting. Friday, you can do the electric parade, which is right here in Old Town, right through Front Street. And it's always a very, very fun event. It's kind of, again, another Hallmarkian moment that we do here in Temecula. So if you're into parades, even if you're not into parades, it's a really, really cool sight to see all these things lit up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I believe I have a video. Oh, one more. Puesca Mountain Day. So November 15th, which is this Friday, we're doing our Puesca Mountain celebration right here in front of City Hall, so right out front. And it's a celebration of when the city of Temecula and the Pechanga Band of Indians mounted their fight against and won the gravel quarry. So this is a city holiday that we do every year. So if you're around, it's a really interesting event. It's a cultural event because the Pechanga tribe is, they do their documentary right there, The Mountain That Weeps, which is really a very great documentary. I believe it's even on YouTube. But so anyways, that's this Friday, and I do have a video. Willa, come cruise with me.
Hi, Mayor Stu.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am cruising right along. All right, Willa, tell us a little bit about the military memorials that we have at the Duck Pond.
Sure, yeah. We've got the Veterans Paver Campaign, and that is a program the city created to honor our local veterans with engraved pavers that line our path of honor, beginning from our Letters Home Memorial all the way down to our Fallen Heroes Memorial. Other programs include our Military Banner Program, which is a free program where we put a military active duty personnel, their face and their rank and branch of military, And those are banners that line Main Street in Old Town Temecula. We have a concert on Veterans Day, a tribute to a patriotic salute to veterans.
Which, if you've never been to that patriotic concert, you must come, because it is the coolest event. It makes you feel like you're in some small town USA. Such a cool Hallmarkian moment for the city of Temecula. So if you've never been, please go. All right, so tell me about the walkway here.
So this is what we call the Path of Honor. It's made up of engraved pavers of veterans. It has their name, their rank, their years of service, and where they served.
They do it right here on site. So these pavers don't come out and they engrave them. They engrave them right there with a
sandblasting.
Sandblasting. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned the letters. Where are these letters at?
Oh, for the letters home, right up here.
Okay.
Yeah, as you read through each letter, you can see where the soldier was stationed and which war he was fighting in.
Very cool. And what I really like about these letters is they say at the bottom what happened to them, whether they got killed in action or whether they made it home, and lived a great life. So that's really kind of cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Fallen Heroes Memorial.
Yes, so the Path of Honor takes us all the way down to the Fallen Heroes Memorial. So our Fallen Heroes Memorial is specific to Temecula residents that lost their life in active military duty. If you go to our website, temeculaca.gov/veterans, you can read more about our fallen heroes and more about those families.
So cool. Wow. Very, very cool. Very respectful towards our veterans, for sure. Well, thank you all for celebrating our veterans here in Temecula, and thank you for cruising with Stu. All right. And so I guess Jessica remembered she does have one.
I do. Thank you very much, Mayor. If we can just have the slide put up, please. So for all of you veterans, first, I just want to say Happy Veterans Day if you weren't able to make it out to the patriotic salute last night. If you haven't made it out, I would encourage you next year to go. It's always a wonderful time to be able to just join together with other veterans. It was a beautiful night. So I want to say thank you to staff, and also thank you for all you veterans again who were out there. But coming up on Tuesday, November 19th, we have a Veterans Appreciation Breakfast. So something I really wanted to push forward, that we have a time where veterans can come together and be able to connect. Maybe not everybody's connected always to the VFW, and so I wanted to be able to connect other veterans within our area. So I thought this would be a great way to appreciate what veteran doesn't like food, right? So I thought this would be a great opportunity. So I would encourage all of you to register. Over at the bottom, you'll see temeculaca.gov for classes. It's a free event. We're going to have some wonderful speakers, and I just look forward to seeing all of you there. So hopefully you guys can show up. Thank you.
All right. So now we're off to the consent calendar, which number 1 is waive reading of title and text of all ordinance and resolutions included in this agenda. Number 2, approve action minutes of October 22nd, 2024 and November 4th, 2024. Number 3, approve list of demands. Number 4, approve city treasurer's report for the period of July 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2024, and in August 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2024. Number 5, approve financial statements for fourth quarter ending June 30th, 2024. Number 6, adopt the 2024 Conflict of Interest Code. Number 7, approve City Council meeting schedule for November and December 2024. Number 8, approve recommendation for Community Service Funding Grant Program for fiscal year 2024 through 2025 at the request of Subcommittee Kalfas and Schwank. Number 9, approve First Amendment to Charging Services Agreement with EVgo Services LLC for extension of electric vehicle charging station at 6th Street parking lot. Number 10, approve infrastructure funding and acquisition agreement for the Butterfield Stage Storm Drain Line A with the County of Riverside and the Riverside Flood Control and the Water Conservation District. Number 11, reject all construction bids received for park restroom renovations, expansions, and Americans with Disabilities Act Improvement Project, PW 17-06, and authorize construction contract be rebid. Number 12, approve track MAC 36959-1, located at the southwest portion of the city of Temecula, west of Old Town. Number 13, approve resolution approving purchase and sale agreement for vacant parcel owned by Hoff Investments and PMD Investments, APN number 910-262-003. Number 14, award construction contract to PNG Corporation for interim improvement to pave existing gravel lots located at either side of the Main Street Loop here in front of City Hall. Number 15, receive and file temporary street closures for 2024 Winterfest events. And that's it. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move consent.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
I only have Councilmember Schwank that's voted aye.
No, I voted aye. We all pressed their votes.
Okay.
So that passes 4-0.
It does.
All right. So I will adjourn the city council meeting in favor of the Temecula Community Service District meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Steele. I'll call Temecula Community Services District meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, please note that we are all still here. Do we have any public comments on non-agenda items?
We do not.
Okay, move to our consent calendar. Item 16 is approve action minutes of October 22nd, 2024. Item 17, approve financial statements for the fourth quarter ended June 30th, 2024. 18, approve sponsorship agreement with Temecula Sunrise Rotary for community Christmas dinner. And 19, approve sponsorship agreement with Temecula Duplicate Bridge Club, Unit 534, District 22, American Contract Bridge League. I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Move approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay, and that passes 4-0. Thank you. Director of Community Services, do we have anything this evening?
Yes, just a couple of items. First of all, we are having an unveiling for a memorial commemorating the work of Peg Moore, who was one of our original city founders. This memorial is right outside in the Civic Center quad in front of City Hall. It's free and open to the public. It's going to be on Tuesday, November 19th at 11 a.m. There will be light refreshments, and we will have dignitaries speaking and recalling Peg's contributions to our city. Next slide, please. Maybe I don't have a next slide. Okay, that'll conclude my report.
All right, thank you. General Manager, anything?
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Directors, anything? All right, we'll adjourn to our next meeting.
All right, so I'll reconvene the successor agency to the Temecula Redevelopment Agency, also known as SARTA. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
All right, so we have one item, item number 20, approve financial statements for the fourth quarter ending June 30th, 2024.
Move to approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. And that passes 4-0. Do we have an executive director report?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Anything from the board of directors? All right, I'll adjourn. And I'll reconvene the joint meeting of the Temecula Finance Authority and the City Council. Can I have a roll call, please? Or do we need a roll call?
We'll let the record reflect you're all present.
Got it, okay. Public comments?
No public comments.
All right. So we have one item on the consent calendar, item number 21. Approve deposit reimbursement agreement and initiate community facilities district formation proceedings related to the Elderberry Park development. So I'll accept a motion to, is there a staff report on this?
It's a consent calendar item.
Okay, so,
I'll move the item.
Second.
all right, let's move it on. All right, and that passes 4-0. So do we have a executive director report?
Maybe just a clarification, if anyone's watching and paying attention and they want to know what Elderberry Park development is or means or where it's at, that is the name the developer gave the new subdivision that's to be built at the corner of Butterfield Stage Road and Temecula Parkway. So Woodside Homes is constructing a subdivision there. That will be known as Elderberry Park. That concludes my report.
All right. Anything from the directors? Seeing none, we will adjourn and reconvene the city council meeting for a public hearing, which is item number 22, approve renewal of the Visit Temecula Valley Tourism Business Improvement District. And Mr. Watson will take it from here.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, as you just mentioned, before you tonight is a public hearing for the renewal of the Visit Temecula Valley Tourism Business Improvement District. Little history. The Tourism Improvement District was originally established in 2005. Then it was known as Temecula Valley Tourism Business Improvement District pursuant to the Parking and Business Improvement Area Law of 1989, implemented at that time a 2% assessment on hotel room rates paid by overnight visitors. In 2009, at the request of the hoteliers, and that assessment was raised to 4% from 2%. In 2015, the entity converted to the Visit Temecula Valley Tourism Business Improvement District, what we call VTV-TBID, and that was formed under the Parking and Business Improvement District Law of 1994. And that was established with a 4% assessment and a 5-year term. In 2020, that term was renewed. The VTV-TBID was renewed. It maintained its 4% assessment and a 5-year term. And that brings us to today in 2024, and the current request is to renew it for a 3rd term, which will again maintain the 4% assessment and a 5-year term. And if approved, that term would begin January 1st, 2025 and expire December 31st, 2029. So a few points about the VTV-TBID. So this is an assessment that the hoteliers, all 20 of them in town, have agreed to assess themselves and pass on to their overnight visitors that stay with them. It is not a tax or assessment on Temecula residents. The 4% assessment is only paid by overnight visitors at hotel lodging businesses within the city, and this is only within the city boundaries. Visit Temecula Valley is required to use the assessment funds for sales and marketing to promote overnight lodging specifically within the city. All actions taken have been at the request of all lodging businesses in the city, as I mentioned. And again, the current request is nothing is changing, 4% assessment, 5-year term, same boundaries, so it's the status quo. And again, the boundary, just to be clear, is only within the city limits of Temecula. This is a map showing all of the hoteliers that would be subject to the assessment. There are 20, and they have agreed unanimously to request this renewal. So there are 3 steps in the renewal process for the TBID. The first step was in September. The City Council held a meeting, and a resolution of intent was adopted by the Council. That was followed on October 22nd by a City Council public meeting, which this presentation was given, and the community was given a chance to comment. And the 3rd and final step in this process is tonight, November 12th. The City Council is required to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to renew the VTV-TBID and management agreement to administer the assessment. And again, the key dates here are that on December 31st, the current TBID term ends, and if the council agrees to renew it on January 21st, the new term would begin for 5 years. And with that, staff is recommending adoption of a resolution to approve renewal of the Visit Temecula Valley Tourism Business Improvement District. And that concludes my presentation. We have members of VTV as well as our hoteliers, if you have any questions.
All right, do you have any questions? No
Nothing.
questions?
Nope.
So I guess I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, if you can go ahead and open up the public hearing.
Open the public hearing.
We do have 2 public comments. The first is from Ken Westmeyer. The second is from Michael Freely, and then each commenter has up to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, Michael's going to wow you with all the numbers. I'm just here to say thank you. I think I've been here since the beginning of this thing, and to see the overwhelming support of our organization from the city, the partnership that you guys create for us, and the opportunities you create are amazing for us. So on behalf of all the lodging institutions in town, we thank you very much for your dedication to us, and especially to the guests that we serve every year. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor, good evening, council members. Mr. Watson, thank you. You did most of my work. I appreciate it. But, you know, over the years, the growth and to share some of those numbers and this partnership, what's created here in this valley, just recently we did a survey and some research, and we're finding that there's over 3.3 million visitors to Temecula now. And this is all created through this tourism. $1.1 billion in economic spending just in Temecula Valley. Over 16.7 million in local taxes annually. 32.2 million in state taxes annually. And on and on and on. I mean, we're seeing over $100 million annually in local retail sales. 200 million plus annually in food and service within this region, and over $360 million in arts, entertainment, and recreation. So it's really expanded this valley, and I think that's a big contributor to why we're going to see the Olympics here in a few years. So I want to thank you all, and we really appreciate the support.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions, please.
Doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that being said, I'll close the public hearing. And now, if there's no discussion, I'll accept a motion.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and move the item just with a brief comment. I think VTV, it is a wonderful partnership, and we appreciate all the hard work you're doing. Anecdotally, anytime I'm around Temecula and I see people that are clearly here on vacation, they're choosing to come here, and I think a large part of that is the work that you're doing. So happily move the item and happily support the continued work that you're all doing. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes 4-0. So we're on to item number 23, introduce ordinance amending Title 8 of the Temecula Municipal Code regarding hazardous vegetation. Mr. Peters. Oh, well, Mr. Peters, are you going to go first, or he's not here, is he?
I'll introduce Mr. Rabideau.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight we're presenting updated weed abatement ordinance, and I'll try to make this quick. The purpose and need, obviously, weed abatement is really important to our community, lowers our insurance ratings, and we're just making really changes to make this ordinance easier to administer and more transparent to the public. We protect residents with this ordinance, we protect our first responders, and we always make sure that weed abatement is occurring throughout the year, but obviously during those warmer months, it's very important to maintain weed abatement throughout the city. Here's a high fire severity zone map. It shows all the areas around and in the city that are really ripe for burning if we don't do weed abatement. We talked a little bit about, in the past we've talked about insurance rates and how this contributes to it. So we lowered our insurance rates through ISO ratings from a 3 to 2 in the past, and weed abatement is one of those programs that makes that occur. So the proposed changes, well, the ordinance was adopted in 1991 and updated in 98. State laws have updated over the past several years as well. And we wanted to use clear and concise language as well as visuals to help the public and our staff administer the ordinance. And so the notices were part of that update as well. Here's an example. It was written almost in Shakespearean. Hereby, we're going to do this. We want to tell people this is what this notice is about. This is for what property and what you can do. So that's the way we've updated this ordinance. This is falling under a CEQA exemption under section 15061B3. And we're recommending that staff adopt this updated ordinance for weed abatement. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Any questions? No? I think this is an important thing for the city of Temecula, for our fire situation, which it really doesn't. The whole city's a high fire zone, it seems like nowadays, so. But still super important to keep us clean and clear, so. I will accept a motion. Oh, is this a public hearing?
It is.
Oh. I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
Mr. Mayor, no, there aren't
I
any.
will close the public hearing. Now I will accept a motion.
Move to approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, and that passes 4-0. So item number 24 is a receive and file Assembly Bill 1600 Financial Report, Financial Fiscal Year 2023-24 Development Impact Fee Expenditures. And we have Ms. Hennessy to give us the...
All right. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. The item before you tonight is a summary of the development impact fee expenditures for fiscal year 23-24. A development impact fee is a fee imposed by the city on new development project in order to mitigate the impact on public facilities from that development. In 1989, the state legislature passed Assembly Bill 1600, which added section 66000 to the California Government Code. This legislation was known as the Mitigation Fee Act. Section 66006 requires an accounting of development impact fees be provided at a public hearing every 5 years. The city has a practice of providing this report annually in order to provide for maximum transparency. Per the Government Code, development impact fee revenue must be spent within 5 years of receipt on eligible capital improvements that mitigate the impacts of the development activity. Currently, the city has 8 separate development impact fees. In 2023, the California legislature approved Assembly Bill 516, amending government code sections related to the reporting of development impact fees. This amendment now requires the annual report to include all public improvements identified in a previous report and the approximate construction dates. As a result, you will see many capital improvement projects listed that did not have current year expenditures. Additionally, the city has new requirements to provide the payee information on how to access the fee account activity. The next 2 slides summarize the development impact fee activity for fiscal year 23-24. The development impact fee report includes the beginning balance, fees collected, interest earned, current year expenditures, and ending balance by fee type. The list of capital improvement projects programmed to utilize the development impact fees are listed by fee type as well. For fiscal year 23-24, $3.9 million in development impact fee revenue was collected across the 8 separate DIF accounts. A total of $480,000 of interest was earned, and $515,300 was spent for eligible capital projects listed here. The remaining DIF fund balance for all 8 accounts totals approximately $13.3 million and is programmed for expenditure in accordance with the capital improvement program adopted by the council on May 28th of 2024. This concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, do we have any questions? No questions of staff? Then this is a receive and file. We Don't need any,
It is a public hearing, however, so if you can go ahead and, just go ahead and open that.
I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any public
No.
comment? I'll close the public hearing. Now, so we definitely need a vote, right? I don't, yeah, we do.
It doesn't, there's no harm, just go ahead and
Okay.
vote to
All
receive
right.
and file.
Okay.
Move to approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes 4-0. Now, item number 25, appoint members of the Community Service Planning, Race, Equity, and Diversity and Inclusion, and Traffic Safety Commissions. May I have someone take this over? Or-
Yes, I
Yeah.
would be happy to, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, welcome to the annual appointment process in connection with our annual recruitment process. Every August 1st through September 30th, we go ahead and do our recruitment for our annual boards, committees, and commissions vacancies that are coming up at the end of the year. Existing terms are expiring for some members on December 31st, 2024. As such, there will be potentially new terms that will begin January 1st for 3 years. And we went out for approximately 7 positions. Actually, we went out for 8. One was related to, specifically to an architect position for Old Town Local, I want to say Old Town Local Review Board, but it's Old Town Local Advisory Committee. And we didn't get an applicant specifically for that. So tonight, you will not be considering that particular appointment. Staff will be coming back to you at a later date with that. So the only thing you're looking at tonight is just appointment to the 4 cities commissions: Community Services Commission, Planning Commission, Ready Commission, and Traffic Commission. With that, we had several applicants. We had 16 applicants. I did have 1 applicant withdraw over the weekend, so we are now down to 15 applicants. While it is strongly encouraged for applicants to go ahead and be present and provide a presentation to the City Council of anything they would like to add in addition to what was already submitted in the application packet, they are not required to. So you can select from anybody that went ahead and applied. At this point, we'll go ahead and go through the applicants. I'll go alphabetical, and you do have some notes in front of you in regards to where you can go ahead and track as well. Each applicant has up to 5 minutes to go ahead and add anything they would like that wasn't covered in the application packet, and council after each applicant is free to ask any follow-up questions should they choose. At the end of all presentations, we do have several public comments on this item, so we'll go ahead and hear from the public commenters, and after that, we will individually go through each commission's appointment as we've done in the past. That concludes staff report, unless council has any questions about the process.
Any questions? None seen? Go for it.
All right, we will start with Chelsea Alcantara, and I apologize in advance if I am mispronouncing your name. Chelsea? Okay. Next person is Lizeth Badea. Lizeth? Okay. Amanda Bedrol? Amanda? Okay. Stephanie Shabiano, I know she's not here. Lizelle DeGrave? Lizelle, welcome Lizelle.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Stewart, City Council members. My name's Lizelle DeGrave, and Temecula is my hometown. My family moved here in 1989. I grew up in Temecula, and I was even in the first graduating class at Chaparral High School. Community services, Temecula Community Services have made an extraordinary impact on my life. In high school, I participated in the Youth Advisory Council. I played softball at Ronald Reagan Sports Park before it was named Ronald Reagan. And I even met my husband of 21 years, almost added some years on that, of 21 years at Paloma del Sol at the ball fields. Growing up in Temecula, I have seen the growth of the community as well as the services that are offered to the city. I am blown away by the diversity of programs and the robust number of services that are offered not only to Temecula residents, but also surrounding cities. As a mother, I am fortunate to live in a city with such amazing resources. As a family, we appreciate and participate in the many city events, such as taking our Chevy Bel Air to the Rod Run or hopping on a friend's float and going down the Temecula Christmas Parade. We're truly blessed by everything that Temecula has to offer. Years ago, my daughter participated in the junior lifeguard program, and she still talks about it today. My son continues to enjoy playing baseball at the many ball fields that Temecula offers, all the way from Birdsall to Sombers Bend. It is because of my love for our community that I submitted my application for appointment to serve on the Community Services Commission. Professionally, I run DeGrave Communications. We're a full-service public relations firm specializing in working with public agencies and nonprofits. We work with countless cities throughout California. We serve as an extension of their team, handling their communication outreach needs, from strategic communication to marketing outreach, from video to social media. In my sincerity, my most favorite projects to work on, and you might be surprised that it's not wastewater or organic waste, but it is truly those community services outreach projects. The Community Services Department is truly the glue that holds the community together. Whether it's putting together a Parks and Rec booklet or city magazine, whether we're in charge of promoting concerts in the park, or even any type of projects regarding Parks and Rec, these are truly what get me excited, not only because they are fun projects and they are the projects where we get to be creative, but it's also about building excitement, and it's truly where I recognize the impact of the work that I'm doing. I recognize that community services programming is why people move to a city. It's why they have pride in their community, and most importantly, it's where residents have the opportunity to connect with the city. It's critical because as a public agency, ratepayers want to see the value in the taxes that they pay. For volunteerism, locally, I volunteered my professional services and also worked with countless nonprofits, including Habitat for Humanity, the Community Mission of Hope, Jacob's House, Rose Again Foundation, Professor Penny Pickles' workshop, Animal Friends of the Valley, and most recently, TVUSD's CTE program. My involvement in youth sports programs include coaching cheer at Chaparral High School, Pop Warner, organizing middle school summer camps, and I even worked as a summer counselor many moons ago for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm passionate about staying active and having community resources where residents can spend time with one another. In closing, my journey from growing up in this small, close-knit community to leading a successful public relations firm, it has always been rooted in the deep love for this city and its people. I believe that my professional expertise, particularly in strategic communications and community engagement, can bring added value to the Community Services Department. My career has taught me the importance of connecting residents with their city in meaningful ways, ensuring that they see and feel the impact of programs and events that we, Temecula, offer. If given the opportunity to serve as a commissioner, I am committed to supporting and expanding the programs that foster this connection, ensuring that every dollar spent resonates with my community. My why is simple. I want to give back to the city that has given me so much, and also to my family. I'm excited to bring my passion, creativity, and professional experience to this role, helping to make Temecula an even better place for all residents, maintaining old traditions with new opportunities. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I have one question.
Sure.
What year is your Bel Air?
Oh, it's a 57.
57.
Yeah.
Okay.
No post.
That's all I need.
No
to know.
post.
No. Okay, got it. All right, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizelle. Adam Eventoff, I know he is here. To be followed by Bob Hagel.
Well, Honorable Mayor, City Council, staff, I wanted to really just say thank you for a fantastic past 3 years. I've been around city government in one form or another, either as a reporter or as a public relations person, and also as a Ready Commissioner for darn near 25, almost 30 years. Yikes, 30 years. And you don't really get an appreciation for how great your city is until you actually serve your city, and what a privilege it is to serve a city. I've heard many a retirement of city managers or even city council members, and they always say what a privilege it is, and now I have a better understanding. And to be able to go out and celebrate different cultures, to be able to go and celebrate the opening of an ox lane or a pump track or a bike lane or a dog park, on and on and on, to celebrate cultures by helping to institute a culture fest, or to be able to celebrate Juneteenth and to take a look and make sure that our city has been equitable and fair in its allotment of resources to really serve the community in all community, whether it's age, neurodiversity, whatever it is. I like to say that over the last 3 years, I've well represented the middle-aged in Ponche, and with pride. I think I'm now almost at the point where I can say I'm representing the senior in Ponche. But there are some things I'd still like to do while I'm on the commission, and I hope that I get another 3 years. And one of them really is that we are slowly approaching the general plan amendment. And that really shapes our community. And there are things to take a look at. The density on Jefferson and how we approach that, looking at how state regulations force our city to evolve and change and add more density, and how we serve those citizens that will be filling up those condos and filling up those apartments, how we move them around, how we help serve them, how we represent them. Those are some things that I still want to help accomplish. There are some things that are going to be coming that I certainly don't have as good an understanding as I should, but with the general plan amendment, we will probably be incorporating the use of AI in incorporating all these different elements and processing them through. Is that process going to be a fair and equitable sort of method? Is that going to be something well, in my opinion, it's something we need to take a look at. And the Ready Commission is that opportunity. It is that platform. It is that opportunity to be another venue, an opportunity for folks to have a voice in the community that they may not feel comfortable getting up here and talking to a car guy or a veteran or a firefighter. But they may be more comfortable to approach the government that represents them locally through a commission. And through the Ready Commission, that is an avenue in which folks can be approached and maybe get things done that really affect them. And I certainly am grateful for the opportunity for the past 3 years. My background, as I think you guys, most of you may know, have been in this community for 30 years, have done everything from being a Cub Scout den leader to being a soccer assistant coach, leading us to a 1-9 record. Well, we don't really want to talk about that, as well as team mom for the TVUST tennis team and TVHS tennis team, as well as some other things that are extracurriculars, such as being the president of the MTG group, being the president of the EDC, also being the past chair of the MSJC Foundation, where we raised more money in a 3-year period than the history of that organization, and reset that organization to be a development organization that actually raises money, instituted a naming program for that so that the college can really grow, and to attack CTE and really bring it to the community college level to expand access to vocational training throughout the region, not just in Temecula. And so it's been a privilege. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity, and I do hope that I'm worthy of your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eventhoff. Next, we have Mr. Hagel, to be followed by Jan Hugs.
Good evening again. I will keep this short. You have many applicants presenting this evening. My applications for the Planning Commission. My wife Dana and I have lived in Temecula for 21 years. I've worked with the city for almost all of that time in several capacities through our many challenges and substantial growth. I have finished my first 3-year term on the Planning Commission and have served as a vice president or as a vice chair, and this year as chair. We have had a very broad spectrum of action items to consider over the past 3 years. I have taken advantage of all the educational opportunities available. I have focused on learning the role that a city plays in an environment with the many legal controls placed on the city by our state. Our commission faces many challenges regarding housing, property rights, and a wide range of issues that impact properties, businesses, and property owners. I consider safety, property rights, and a balanced view of alcohol, tobacco sales, and other uses of property that provide safety challenges for our residents, our visitors, and especially our kids and teenagers. I take the opportunity while traveling around our city and even outside of our city to be a good ambassador, answering questions and educating those interested in how a city works and the restrictions a state and the many federal, state, and county agencies place on each city. I would love the honor to continue serving our city and to continue to give back to our residents and make Temecula a friendly and enjoyable place to live. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jan Hawks, to be followed by Michelle Nelson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Dr. Yuan Hawks. Tonight, I want to earn your trust once again by addressing 3 questions. Why am I applying again? What are my qualifications? And what have I achieved as a commissioner? First, why am I applying again? Because I love Temecula. This is home. I've lived here for 17 years, and as an immigrant, I've lived in a few places, but it was here in Temecula I became a proud U.S. citizen. We cannot choose where we are born, but we can choose where we call home. It is here that I got married and raised my family. My family has thrived here, and I want to see other families flourish as well. As Luke 12:48 states, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded." I came to this country with 2 suitcases and a dream. Today, I have a family and a community. I have been given much that I did not deserve. That's why I am compelled to give back to the community that I so cherish. Second, what are my qualifications? I'm a critical thinker, leader, and a communicator. I've earned my PhD in molecular biology and have worked as a scientist in cancer research. I've also served as a school board director and the Homeowners Association president. Just this May, I became the public speaking champion of Inland Empire. Therefore, I can say with confidence that I am a competent communicator with a little accent. Third, what have I achieved as a commissioner? Currently, I am the vice chair of the commission, and I work closely with Chair Kingsburg to bring positive changes to our commission. I attend events actively, averaging 2 to 4 per month. I spread the word, whether it's Teen Zone, concerts, or veterans events. Speaking of veterans events, I want to thank you, Councilwoman Alexander, for bringing that up. I was going to also remind everybody to sign up for the free Veterans Appreciation Breakfast for next Tuesday. And I've also conducted the PR campaigns at the Rotaries Club and the Toastmasters Club. Those are just some of the conventional ways how I served. I've also ventured into unconventional ways, such as being the mayor's interpreter on the spur of the moment. Did I make you look good?
Yeah, you did.
Am I better than the app?
You were definitely better than the app. Quicker.
Yes. Also playing the street piano right here in the Old Town on the sidewalk on its debut. Certainly, I did not see that one coming when I signed up. One of my fond memories was performing at the senior center with my children. Even though we were not the Captain Von Trapp's family from The Sound of Music, and we had bloopers, but the seniors loved it. That solidified my mission to serve our community. 3 years ago, I came here as a stranger, and you entrusted me with this responsibility. It is beyond my wildest dreams that as an immigrant, I could be part of my local government. Today, I'm no longer a stranger, but your commissioner. I hope I've shown you that I have not taken this responsibility lightly, and I have served to the best of my ability. Tonight, I humbly ask for your trust and your vote once again. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. The next person is Michelle Nelson, to be followed by Tanina Petway.
Well, she has my vote. I don't know about you guys. Good evening, City Council and Mayor. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Michelle Nelson, and I'm lucky to be requesting this prominent position with the Community Services Commission. I've always been an advocate of volunteering for worthy causes. In the past, I have been a big sister with the Big Brother and Sister program. And here in Temecula, since I've been a resident since 2005, almost 20 years, I was involved in the CASA program, which is helping foster children have an advocate. And lastly, I have been in one of our local Toastmasters Club for the past 2 years, and I'm currently serving as president and have served as VP of membership in the past. Why do I want to be a part of this commission is really what I'm here to talk about. The first thing I want to mention is that I'm originally from Minnesota, and after freezing for 19 years, I joined the Navy. But California was my dream destination. But I would be brought to Hawaii for my military service, not a bad deal. After 4 years in Hawaii, I came to California to expand my education and start my life in this beautiful state and climate. Now, having been from out of state, it was not easy to find my footing here in Southern California. But I will tell you, when I moved to Temecula in 2005, for the very first time, I felt a sense of community. I have already been in California almost 13 years. I've lived in San Diego, Escondido, Long Beach. But it's really, when I got here, I really felt that sense of community. I call this the jewel in the crown. It is the best kept secret in all of Southern California, although I don't think it's a secret anymore. What can I say about Temecula? I love the community and how much it is to do here, and it just keeps expanding. The amount the CRC has to offer has made our family enjoy all the local traditions, from Santa Claus at the duck pond to the grape drop on New Year's Eve. I truly believe I have done just about everything this town has to offer, and I would love to make sure all the residents are aware of these offerings by being involved in this commission. Sometimes there's so much going on, it's hard to be informed. And I really love to help it promote its contribution as well as look at all the aspects that we can continue to improve and bring it back some favorites, especially the City Light Christmas Tour. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was such a magical time because I brought my firstborn on that tour. And we went around, we saw the lights, and everybody had treats at their houses. And we had so much fun because at least one stop had Santa Claus. I remember all the kids on that bus and how their faces lit up with excitement. I think mine was still afraid of Santa Claus at the time, though. My experience in the Navy and working with diverse cultures has given me a great perspective of the meaning of teamwork. My number one skill that I can bring to this commission would be my problem solving and my innovative approaches to new and old ideas alike. Through my corporate world experience, I gained tremendous amount of knowledge in the area of sales and technology, which is really just understanding people and businesses and aligning their needs. I want to add value through my experience lens. It would be my honor and privilege to be part of this organization. As Temecula continues to thrive, I just want to be a part of it. Thank you for considering my application, and thank you for your time. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Tanina Petway. Tanina? Okay. Laura Reich. Laura, welcome, Laura.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and staff. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak. This is my third time applying to the Community Services Commission. And earlier this year, I watched a great movie. It's called A Million Miles Away. And it's about a young man, Mexican-American, who grew up very poor and hopped from school to school. He bounced from school to school, but eventually made it to college and earned his master's degree in mechanical engineering and electrical and computer engineering. He eventually ended up going to work for a science lab and applied to the NASA space program to become an astronaut. He was denied 11 times. But he continued to pursue his goal. He continued to want to meet those requirements that NASA was telling him he needed. And eventually he was accepted into that program, and in 2009 he became the first Mexican American to go out into outer space. The reason I tell that story is because I hope it doesn't take me 11 times to apply to be part of this committee. But since the first time I've applied, I've then expanded my volunteer hours to this city. Currently, I am president of my HOA, and I've been nominated for the Volunteer of the Year Award through the California Legislative Action Committee and Community Association Institute. I'm also, at the moment, in the midst of revamping Empowerment Village through Mission Hope. And for those, I don't know if you're familiar with Empowerment Village, but it's a home for single mothers. The offices are in dire need of updating. And as an interior designer, I am volunteering and helping them from the nitty-gritty work of painting to the fun part at the end, which is when we bring and put everything together. I know I don't have the credentials to go to outer space, but I do know that I have the qualities that you're looking for to fulfill this position. I would like to be part of this commission, not just because I like to give back to this community, but also to contribute to the opportunities given to families in our area. I've been part of this community for over 30 years. I have countless hours of volunteering, as I'm sure you've noticed in reviewing my application, from PTA, everything you can think of, to soccer coach, Girl Scout leader, team mom, team manager. I've done it all, and I've loved doing it all. I love giving back. I love being part of the community. I have 4 children that all were born and raised here. As a family, we enjoyed many of the activities the city offered. I know my children benefited from the many programs available, and as a member of this commission, I would like for families to continue to benefit and enjoy from those opportunities. I say that I'm a retired MOM, manager of messes, but always a full-time mom. My children are all grown and have moved on to do something else. So I have the drive, the commitment, and the time to dedicate to this city and be part of this commission. I love this city. I am very proud of it, and I ask you to allow me the opportunity to bring in fresh ideas and energy to continue the great job the commission is doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All good?
No questions. You're good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. Next, we have Thomas Renzi, and Thomas will be followed by Lawrence Successor.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Stewart, City Council members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come up and talk to you about this opportunity. My name is Thomas Renzi, and I have lived in Temecula for 15 years with my wife, Denise, and our 3 sons. We've moved down from Northern California, but certainly don't hold that against me. I currently work for Cisco Systems as a consultant and an architect, consulting with top 50 companies around the world. And I'd like to take a moment to talk about some of my New Year's resolutions. A little bit under a year ago, I came up with some different New Year's resolutions, the usual ones, right? I'm going to diet, I'm going to lose weight. Neither one of those have come to pass, but there have been a couple that I followed through with. One of those is I turn on my video when I have conference calls in my home office. I do that. The other one is volunteering, and I've actually started to follow through on that. Currently, I am on the Industry Advisory Board for the Career Technical Education, or CTE program, at the local high schools. So I work with the teachers and the people that do that program, and working with them in my industry, and I work with students, seniors, who want to talk with folks in our industry to know what they need to do, what steps they need to do in order to move into my industry. That has actually led to additional volunteering opportunities with the Cyber Patriot program. That's also part of the CTE program, where our high school seniors compete against other high schools in technical challenges. So right now, I'm more or less acting as a coach and volunteer for that program as well. But I also have an additional interest in other volunteering opportunities, and that's actually led me to the Community Services Commission here in Temecula. As I mentioned, we lived here for 15 years. I have 3 sons. They've all played sports, and I've had the opportunity to coach youth sports. In addition to that, my family and I have been able to take opportunities to partake in the skate parks, local festivities, pickleball. We have a couple of dogs. We've been able to take them to dog parks. Just the opportunities that we in the Temecula community have are nothing short of amazing, in my opinion. This is where I'm passionate about giving back. I feel like that Temecula has given so much to myself and my family that I felt like the Community Services Commission position is an opportunity for me to give back to the folks here in Temecula. Now, I can't say all of that without letting you know, if you've seen my resume, I haven't been a part of a board. I haven't, and I could acknowledge that. However, I think I do have some things that would make me a good fit for the board. Number one, as I've mentioned, I'm passionate about this community. 2, I'm a fast learner. So while I don't know everything there is about everything, I'm willing to learn if that makes the role that I would have with the Community Services Commission that much better. And then the other thing that I have too is I'd like to think of myself as a good listener. And I think being on the Community Services Commission would give me the opportunity to listen to the folks here in Temecula, any concerns or ideas that they may have for our community. And in addition, it would also be an opportunity to listen to fellow commission members on ideas that they may have, because I'm sure they have excellent ideas as well. I think the Community Services Commission opportunity is a great opportunity. I think it's just an honor to be up here talking with you all and being considered for that position. It's great to hear some of the speeches from some of the other folks here. It actually gets me fired up thinking about it. But I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you about the position. It's a great honor to be up here, and I Best of luck with whomever you pick. Thank you. Let me know if you have questions.
I got a question. So what kind of architect are you?
I do data center networking, so I help customers architect, like, it used to be global networks, but now I'm more focused on data center, large company data center networking. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a traditional like architect where I've got pencils and
Okay.
no, it's
All right.
it's
Because
it's
we're
helping-
looking for an architect.
Yeah, well, I heard that. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that's not quite the
Not
architect.
quite.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're a fast learner.
Is
We-
there still
we can
time?
make you one,
Is there
yes.
still time to throw my name in the?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thomas. The next individual is Lawrence Successor, to be followed by Mark Watson.
Good evening, Mayor Stewart, other members of the council, staff, and citizens. My name is Larry Successor, and I'm applying to have the position on the Traffic Safety Commission. Before I do that, though, I'd like to thank you, the four of you, especially for the goodness that you bring to the city, for the efforts that you make. I've had some dealings with several of you outside of city council meetings, and I want you to know that I appreciate it, and I say this on behalf of everyone behind me, all the good things that you do, and not only you, but your families that sacrifice too. So go home, give your families a hug, and I appreciate that. Let me start by saying why I feel I'm qualified to serve in the Traffic Safety Commission. My wife, family, and I came here in 2001 and have benefited from Temecula's goodness. We now have 6 of our 11 grandchildren that live here in Temecula. I want to give back to Temecula the good feeling and feel qualified to do so as a member of the Traffic Safety Commission. My qualifications begin with developing land and building 325 tract homes in the Inland Empire several years ago as owner and president of Group 1 Homes. This included designing streets, taking into account traffic, and analysis solutions. Because of this experience, I am familiar with how the process of development it takes place and can do that here in Temecula. I've also built 12 custom style homes here in Temecula, and that gave me the opportunity to also see and get involved with the city. Recently, I've also consulted for charter schools and helping them with their school traffic patterns, pick up and drop off. I feel the best way to solve a problem is to avoid having a predetermined solution. I listen to those who know about it, then discuss the problem, and lastly, try to solve it. Then afterwards, follow up as needed to see if there's any thing that's gone awry or any unanticipated consequences. Many describe me as a team player. My background as the founding member of the Temecula and Murrieta Interfaith Council helped me to bring diverse ideas together and people to form an entity capable of doing good in the world. I have served on numerous humanitarian and service committees. Lastly, I am unwilling to accept the status quo because I have learned to dig deep to solve problems. A case in point, right here in Temecula, the right-of-way acceptance for the city, for the street of Ormsby Road was missing. No one could find it. And I didn't accept that as the status quo and dug deeper and found that the document, the acceptance for the right-of-way was recorded by the county prior to the city. It was just assigned the wrong parcel map. Because I'm a humanitarian at heart, I love to serve others and feel qualified to serve the city on the Traffic Safety Commission. I appreciate what you do, and I'd like to join you. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Nope. You're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mark Watson, to be followed by our last presenter, Bonnie Woodrum. Mark?
Well, good evening, Mayor Stu,
Vice Mayor Kalfas, Councilmember Schwank, Councilmember Alexander. My name is Mark Watson. Tonight I hope to earn your approval to serve on the Temecula Planning Commission. My lovely wife Holly, who's in the audience tonight, and I moved from Escondido to the city of old traditions and new opportunities 5 years ago next Tuesday. Because Temecula is notably well-governed, fiscally responsible, and a highly desired community where residents live safely and happily and businesses find prosperity, our decision was especially easy. Before and after my service to the Escondido Planning, when I lived in Escondido, I served on the Escondido Planning Commission. I have included letters of recommendation that attest to the character of my service in the application packet before you. I'm a graduate of the Planning Commissioners Academy, and I had a perfect attendance record during my term as an Escondido Planning Commissioner. Before and after my service to the Escondido Planning Commission, I successfully brought 5 items before the commission, so I think I can safely say that my experience from both sides of the dais is fairly well-rounded and gives me a unique perspective into the commission's workings. I'm an honorably discharged member of the United States Army, where I served 6 years in the Netherlands as a counterintelligence special agent. After my service to our country, I returned to Alaska and became a licensed realtor. I mention these professional experiences because both taught me the experience of paying careful attention to the details while never losing sight of the big picture, among other things. I'm proud to say that I have previously served on the Red Hawk Homeowners Association Architectural Committee, and that I am presently in my 2nd term of service as a member of its board of directors, where, working closely with my fellow board members and the residents of Red Hawk, we have successfully and equitably addressed matters of land use, building standards, and appearance. I understand the Planning Commission's role and its responsibility to review and make recommendations on subdivisions, our 15 specific plans, zone changes, plot plans, and the conduct of legally required public hearings. I would consider it a privilege to serve alongside Chair Hagel, Vice Chair Turley Trejo, Commissioners Watts and Solis. In closing, I'll say that I'm honored to be joined tonight by Jim Simmons, Chief Executive Officer, and Jason Greminger, Real Estate Development and Project Entitlement Manager of Land Use Consultants Collaborative from San Marcos. Greg Hahn has also joined me. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Empire Design Group. He's a licensed architect. Mayor Stu, you may want to throw that at him. And he's also former chairman of the Murrieta Planning Commission. Also with me tonight is Sally Schiffman. She owns WSM Land Development Solutions. My friends and fellow Red Hawk board members, Don Snyder, president of Red Hawk HOA, and Brian Macy, vice president, neither of whom are speaking in an official capacity for the Red Hawk community, and my employer, Mike Namu, Chief Executive Officer of the Namu Group. I thank you all for considering me for appointment to the Planning Commission. If you have any questions? Seeing none.
You were pretty detailed.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. And then the last presenter is Bonnie Woodrum. Welcome, Bonnie.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Thank you for having me here this evening. This has been a fantastic insight into the many people we have here in Temecula, and I'm just so honored to be here before you to request the serving as a commissioner. I will say that when I saw the openings that were available, many of them sparked my curiosity, but it is the Community Services Department that really sparked my interest because of this story. I have a couple of my family members here today, my daughter and my husband, and I have 2 other sons. And it wasn't that long ago that we lived in a community not far from here, and this cutie pie, she was probably in kindergarten, and she needed the spotlight. She needed to be in front of an audience. And the community I was in, we didn't have an audience for her. And I happened upon the community services guide that you all put out, and there was an opportunity for an audition at the theater downtown. And so I brought her down here, and she auditioned, and the professionalism and the care of the people who were running that program was out of this world. And we got her in the program, she went through, and then it was time to be on stage. Then I was doubly impressed by what you have here in this community as a theater. Not just the setting and the lights and the costumes and the attention to detail, but what it did for our kids to bring them all together to show how teamwork works to put on a show. And then the friends that she made in that program. And having that experience just snowballed. Then I started to notice all the other things that were available in this community. It wasn't long after that that my husband and I had the opportunity to move into a new community. And when we were considering it, I will say that was largely, we made the decision to move here because of the community services that were available and provided. There was scuba diving and water polo for my 11-year-old. I mean, where else do you find something like that? And it was accessible, right? It was affordable, it was available, and my kids have always had the opportunity. My husband just recently completed your CERT training and is now part of your CERT team. Because we are here and part of this community, we've met so many people that we enjoy and love, and we get to meet our friends at the summer concert in the summer, and I could just go on. And I think we all have talked about all those wonderful opportunities that this community has brought. And so I am inspired by the values that are shown through the Community Services Department, the inclusivity of bringing people together with different cultures, the accessibility when I go to see shows and they've included an ASL signer for those who are hard of hearing. That's really far and few when it comes to a community. And it's just the enrichment that this community has provided. I'm committed to ensuring that everyone, from our littlest guys who are in the Mommy and Me program, all the way to our seniors, who I just recently learned that you have meal programs and ride share type programs. Amazing, fantastic. So these resources are what make us a wonderful place for all. My experience has been in the public sector. I've been in community outreach and stakeholder relations for the past 20 years. And as a volunteer, I've been a Rotarian, a school volunteer for my kids, and a Girl Scout leader. This has helped me have a really great understanding of community needs, but really what it means is that you need to be a good listener to the community. And in my profession, I spend my days doing surveys, reaching out to our community, getting feedback, doing interviews in order to really understand what the needs are, because really it's what everyone needs, not just a select few. And so I am very passionate with that in gaining feedback and giving back. I am excited to work collaboratively with the commission, with the council, with the staff and residents to find ways to identify those programs and how we can make improvements. I'm eager to explore the initiatives that could improve the quality of life for our community. And really, I want to say how grateful and thankful I am to all of you for making this city what it is, giving us these opportunities. And I appreciate you reviewing my application, and I look forward to helping serve Temecula and make it a better place for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes the list of applicants. It's a little unusual, but I have 6 speaker cards here.
Oh, wow.
On this item. I have a feeling they're all related to Mr. Watson. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'll just call them up. And you're welcome to say whatever else it is that you would like at the podium as a public speaker. And then we can go ahead and go with it from there. Sally Schiffman, to be followed by Jim Simmons.
Good evening. My name is Sally Schiffman, and I'm here tonight to support Mark Watson in his bid for a position on your Planning Commission. I have had the pleasure of working with Mark in a professional capacity for about 6 years now on his development projects. And when he called me to ask if I would come tonight, I did not hesitate for 1 second. There are only a few people for whom I will drive northbound rush hour traffic from Escondido for, and Mark is one of them. I highly respect him. I respect his work ethic and his approach to projects. He is highly intelligent, he's conscientious, he is thorough, and he is fair. As a land use planner myself, I can attest to his unusual passion for land use code requirements and rules. He really wants to understand the why behind requirements, and that has really served him well with his own projects, and he will bring that to the Planning Commission here for the City of Temecula. Given his experience in working his own projects through this process for multiple cities, he really does bring that unique perspective. So when he's on a planning commission, he understands what applicants have gone through, and he also understands where they may be finding their gray area. And so he knows the right questions to ask. He knows what to look for in their plans and their project descriptions. I'm confident that Mark Watson will do a fabulous job for this city. And I really do believe that Temecula will benefit from his experience and his passion and his commitment to this community. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jim Simmons, to be followed by Jason Grimenser.
Honorable Mayor, council members, staff, and the public. My name is Jim Simmons, and as of January, I will have been in the land use business for 50 years. And I have a company that is now being run by my sons, and we've been working in Southern California and Arizona and New Mexico, getting houses built, getting things approved. I met Mark when he was on the Planning Commission in Escondido, and he is studious, dedicated, and consistent. And one of the things he has, which is kind of unique, well, maybe not unique, but special, is that he makes the public feel comfortable about having a discussion with the board, with the commission. I've been in front of dozens of planning commissions and city councils and boards over the years, and I find him to be a real bright light. And he brought a really good attitude to the board. He is, at this point, one of my clients. And I drove up here from San Marcos tonight in that fabulous traffic. And I did it because I have a lot of respect for him. He's a good man, and the city would benefit tremendously by having him part of your commission. My last thing is, I have an award-winning 55 Chevy Street Rod, and I'm in the process of building a 69 Chevelle with a 427.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, on that note, Jason, to be followed by Brian Macy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jason Greminger. I'm here in support of Mark Watson to hopefully be nominated and appointed as a planning commissioner. As Sally and Jim mentioned, Mark has a history on a planning commission in the city of Escondido, which is where I met him, presenting a very challenging and complicated project that he heard twice through no fault of his own that actually had an issue to do with Caltrans. But I've also worked with him in the city of San Marcos as a client, and I can say that Mark is one of the most knowledgeable and intelligent planners that I've come across. He really takes the time to fully understand the materials that are given to him. His package that he gets from the Community Development Department, he's gonna read every detail in that package. He's gonna fully understand the project. And what he doesn't understand, he's going to ask the right questions and get the right responses. So I think that Mark might be the best candidate that you could possibly hear for an appointment to this planning commission. I hope you take the time to consider him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Macy, to be followed by Don Snyder.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. First off, I want to thank you for not calling me up here at 7. I don't think my ego could have taken losing half the audience during my speech. I'm honored to speak on behalf of Mark Watson, a dedicated and respected member of our community, as a candidate for the Temecula's Planning Commission. Mark isn't just a capable professional, he's a friend and a trusted neighbor. Mark's commitment to his neighbors and friends is clear to everyone who knows him. As secretary of the Red Hawk HOA, he has presented over 3,000 households with an open door and a listening ear. His neighbors know him as someone who goes out of his way to understand their needs, making time to connect, support, and advocate for them. Whether he's working through community issues or simply helping a friend, Mark brings a calm, respectful, and reliable presence. Beyond his close ties with the community, Mark's business background shows his commitment to excellence. As the manager of capital projects for the NEMA Group, he has overseen complex, high-value projects with integrity and precision. He manages every detail with an eye on quality and safety, gaining the trust of architects, contractors, and clients alike. His experience as a former vice president of business development further demonstrates his ability to negotiate and build partnerships that create long-term value, a skill he brings to all his work. Most of all, Mark has an authentic passion for helping Temecula grow in the ways that benefit everyone. His time as a planning commissioner in Escondido taught him the importance of listening to diverse voices and balancing development with community values. He brings the same approach to Temecula, where he's already made a positive impact. In short, Mark is a rare combination of dedicated neighbor, skilled professional, and trusted friend. I can't think of anyone more fitting to serve on the Planning Commission, and I wholeheartedly recommend him for this role. Thank you.
And next up, we have Dawn. Yes. Dawn Snyder, to be followed by Mike Nemo.
Good evening, Stu, Mayor, council people, and important others. Let me find my notes here. I'm Don Snyder. I'm the second-term board president of the Red Hawk Community Association, and we represent 3,256 homes. And we have a beautiful green spaces and the famous Red Hawk waterfalls. I'm pleased to offer my support for my fellow board member, neighbor, and friend, Mark Watson, in his candidacy for the City Planning Commission. I've had the privilege of working closely with Mark, and I can attest to his invaluable contributions to our association. Mark brings a wealth of experience in construction, along with prior service on Escondido's Planning Commission, equipping him with a strong foundation in urban planning and community development. His approachable demeanor and excellent communication skills have enabled him to build strong, positive relationships with a strong foundation in urban planning and community development. Mark consistently works with subcommittees and homeowners to understand and address their concerns, fostering trust and collaboration across our community and ensuring projects are completed smoothly and efficiently. He is able to identify anomalies and nonconformities as we review plans and contracts. Mark's vast knowledge of construction techniques and regulations has been instrumental in providing recommendations and possible solutions to these situations. I am confident that his dedication cooperative approach would make him an excellent partner to his fellow commissioners, and that he would bring the same level of commitment and insight to the city's Planning Commission as he has brought to Red Hawk Community Association. Thank you for considering Mark in this role, and I'm confident he will be an exceptional asset to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Mike Nemo, to be followed by our last speaker, Gregory Hahn.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Stewart. My name is Mike Nemo, and I'm here today on behalf of Mark Watson, not only as his employer, but as family. Mark is more than a professional. He's a person of integrity, deeply committed to serving the public with both conviction and the right mindset. It's an honor to express why I believe Mark Watson would be an outstanding choice for Planning Commissioner. Few in this room have had the chance to work as closely with Mark as I have. Over the past 10 years, I've had the privilege of witnessing his character, wisdom, and leadership firsthand. Those who know Mark agree. His strengths lie in the intellect, insight, his clear and compelling communication, and his decisive, action-oriented approach. Mark stands out not only for his dedication to his profession, but also for his active engagement with his community. In his day-to-day work, Mark successfully manages effective relationships with project consultants, legal counsel, architects, and civil engineers. Yet, consistently finds time to serve his community. As a former planning commissioner for the city of Escondido, Mark has asked the tough questions that resulted in project clarity and allowance the city's general and specific plans. His passion for service issues and his commitment to thoughtful, balanced progress have truly set him apart. Mark's experience and perspectives have made him an invaluable asset. His ability to listen to all viewpoints, carefully weigh the long-term impacts of decisions, and advocate for the greater good is simply, deeply I admire. Time again, he has demonstrated the vision, dedication, and collaborative spirit necessary to make decisions that benefit the entire community. I urge you to support his appointment, as I am confident he will be a devoted commissioner that you will appreciate. Thank you for your time and consideration.
And the last speaker is Gregory.
My name is Greg Hahn, architect, Empire Design Group. I've been in this valley since 1987. I've known Mark Watson for approximately 10 years. And in 2 years, it'll be almost 50 years I've been in architecture. I think Mark is one of my most adventurous, knowledgeable clients I've had. He keeps me on my toes, he's astute, he's focused, and he's qualified for this position, probably overqualified. But I'm here to support him wholeheartedly. Thank you, Mayor Stewart, and your Mopar, that's very nice, and City Council and staff doing a fine job, Mr. Peters.
Thank you. All right. Well, first off, I want to thank everybody who came to speak, all of you who have applied for these positions. Again, we have just a couple to hand out tonight, but you're all completely qualified. So if for some reason you don't get on, don't think it's a slam against you. It's just that we've got such a narrow window to put you all in. So thank you all for your dedication to the city of Temecula and your willingness to commit to these commissions. So thank you. So we are going to, I think what we're going to do is I'll start at this end with Zach, and give me your top two for Planning Commission.
I can do that. For planning, I would like to recommend Bob Hagel. And I will say to Mark, you had me at your application. That was a lot. I just want to know, this is a $150 a month job, right? Are you sure about that? Okay, just double checking. But you're certainly well qualified, and I think you'd be a good fit. So Mark Watson would be my second choice.
All right.
I have the same top two.
Same top two?
Ironically, I had the same top two. So I think we're good on that. So let's move on to the Traffic Safety Commission. So let's go with Jessica first.
Which one again?
Public Safety Traffic Commission, or Traffic Commission.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so for chiefs,
Is it one or two? It's one. Just one, okay. All right, Brendan?
I would also go with Larry Slesser, and I want to point out the document that he was talking about was from, I believe, the late 1970s that he found with the dedication of right-of-way, so that's pretty impressive.
All right, and Zach?
Chelsea Alcantara.
And I'm looking for my choice. I didn't have one. So, I'm still trying to find. Okay. You know what? I think I'll just go ahead and I agree. Let's go with Larry Slesher. So 3-1 for that. All right, so Community Services Commission. Now this one, it usually is one of the ones that most people want to do, and I totally understand it because it really is the heartbeat of the city. You know, these community events, and I'm a big proponent of community services, so I totally understand why everybody kind of piles in on this one. But again, we have many applicants and 2 spots. So, Mr. Schwank, let's start with Brendan this time.
My top 2 were the incumbent, Ms. Yan, and Lizelle. Just to mirror what you said real quick, Mayor, this one's a tough one. It's obviously one of the most sought after commissions we have. And although, Laura, I believe again it would be your 4th time applying, don't stop. And Michelle, Thomas, and Bonnie, keep applying. It's a great commission. These come up, every so often, so keep trying.
Zach?
Okay, I am going to zig when everyone else is zagging. I'm going to go with Laura Reich and Bonnie, Bonnie Woodrum.
All right, Jessica.
Okay, for myself, kind of exactly what the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem were saying. A lot of really good people in here. I would just ask that you guys continue to apply, but I'm going to go with Mrs. DeGrave and Mrs. Hawkins. Hawks, sorry. Thank you.
Well, Lizelle was my choice along with Yuan Hawks. So that's 3 of us, so that's done. So the Ready Commission. So let's start with Jessica this time.
All right, I'm going to pick Mr. Adam Eventoff. Thank you so much for all of your great service. You speak your mind every time, and I love it, so thank you. And I'm also going to pick Miss Stephanie. I'm not going to try and say that last name. So.
I as well will go with Mr. Eventoff, and then my choice would be to leave the second one vacant until another time when we hold other interviews when they can come in person.
Mr. Schwank.
So I will go with Mr. Eventov, fantastic commissioner, and Tanina Petway.
And I am going to go with Stephanie, also with Adam Eventoff. So, where do we go from here? Because we don't have consensus on this.
Okay, so you do have majority on that one, though. So you have Adam Eventoff, and for Stephanie, you have 2. For leaving it open, you have 1, and for Tanina, you have 1.
Right.
So your majority on the second position is Stephanie,
Okay. All right.
because it's 2.
Okay.
So,
All right. So
So the way it lines out,
Can you just explain majority of 2 in a group of 4 for me, please?
yeah, it's, as far as the preferred action. So your one preferred action is, do not make a second appointment. There was no second, third, or fourth for that. The one was for another candidate, there was no second, third, or fourth for that. And then Stephanie had 2 for appointment. That's where the majority came from, unless there are others that would like to join in one of the.
So we could take individual motions, right? Like if you have a hang-up that
Yeah.
it's only 2,
Yeah.
we could do the individual motion and you and I could vote against that because we essentially voted against that.
Right.
And we could bring that back at another time. There's no obligation to just
Sure.
go along to get along. if you
Correct.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with moving along. That's majority. No point in voting on it for me.
Well, unfortunately, this is what happens when people don't come to speak. And so we're just going strictly off of a piece of paper and a resume. So both of them were very equal as far as I'm concerned. So I wouldn't have heartburn if we left it open and took it back out to
The public?
public again.
Yeah, let's do that.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, so our annual recruitments are in August and September. And Ready Commission does have 7 members, so quorum isn't an issue if there is one that is vacant. So I'm assuming the direction I'm hearing is leave it vacant until the next annual recruitment process versus go out just for this versus anything else.
Right. Yeah.
We can do that?
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so in that case, what I'm hearing is that collectively, council is looking to make a motion to go ahead and approve for community services, Lizelle DeGrave and Jan Hawks. For Traffic Safety Commission, Lawrence Successor. For Planning Commission, Mark Watson and Bob Hagel. And for Ready Commission, Adam Eventoff, with going ahead and leaving the Ready Commission vacant until the next round of annual recruitment applications come in.
Yep, I think that's correct.
Okay, so we'll need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Please vote. And that passes 4-0. All right, so now we are at item number 26, approved purchase and installment agreement for installment agreement and software as service agreement with Frog Parking, Inc. for parking sensors within the public parking spaces in Old Town. Can I have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. What we're going to do for you tonight is discuss a little bit of the history of how we got here today, and I'll try to be very brief when we talk about the preferred parking solution that we're going to implement in Old Town. First, we're going to talk about a technology white paper, which describes the different solutions that we looked at. We're also going to talk about our request for proposal process and how we came up with the vendor that we're working with now. And then you'll finally, at the end, get to see a product demonstration of what they have to offer so you can see it for yourselves. Staff has been actually collecting parking data in Old Town since the late 90s, and these counts were all done manually. And as time has gone on, these have become extremely inefficient and very costly. The last time we went out for bid on a manual count, it was well over $500,000 to have someone, actually a company, just for 4 days do a count. And those tests are actually just snapshots in time. They're not giving you accurate long-term data. It's just a snapshot in time. So with that being said, staff realized there's got to be a way for technology to help us do this more accurately and more efficiently. But where do you start? What we did is we hired Fear and Peers, which is a traffic consultant, to produce a white paper that could look at different parking solutions for us to review. And I listed here just some of the things we were looking for them to analyze. We wanted to make sure that whatever they came up with, looked at real-time data for utilization, what spaces are being used. It looked at length of stay, how long are vehicles in those spaces. We also want to make sure it had an intuitive dashboard and was straightforward as far as its administration and its maintenance. That would be easy for us to use. They actually came up with 6 different solutions, and I've listed them here, but the ones that you really want to pay attention to is the last one, the in-pavement sensors. This was selected as the preferred technology, really because it provides the most accurate way to get data, and it's also scalable as well. Once we knew the solution that we wanted, we solicited an RFP. We actually got 6 vendors to submit proposals, and the top vendor, Frog Parking, who's here tonight, they were invited to provide a demonstration to City Council Old Town Steering Committee and the Old Town Local Review Board. As I mentioned here on the slide, both of those bodies were enthusiastic about the ability to collect accurate data in real time. And should the contract be approved tonight, just as a side note, staff will intend on implementing this project in 2 phases. The first phase will be a pilot, which will be 90 spaces from the northern arch down to Main Street, just along Old Town Front Street. It'll go for about 3 months, and that gives us time to really make sure the software is doing what we want it to do and really see it in action. With that being said, I would like to turn it over to Frog. He can come up and show you how this project looks.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you for allowing us to come up here and tell you about our solution that we can provide for the city. My name is Martin Brewer. I'm the Vice President, and this is Jennifer Thomas, National Account Manager for Frog Parking. Frog Parking, just to give an overview, started in 2008. It is a New Zealand-based company and spread across the world from there, including Australia, Europe, and into the United States in 2014. We have a large number of customers throughout America, including and across a number of different segments as well, including cities. Notable ones, Laguna Beach, Calabasas, Walnut Creek, and Livermore in Northern California, and a whole range of others. So we do have experience with cities, providing them the data that they need to make, obviously, really good, decisive decisions around parking. In terms of our products, we have a very wide range. We want to be the solution provider for anything and meet all of your needs. We start off with obviously sensors, indoor guidance, and obviously park solutions as well. All of those solutions can then output in terms of signage or applications, which I'll get onto very shortly. We are also a software company, not just a hardware company. We tailor to your needs and what you want out of the systems. There's a lot of information that we can pull in from the hardware, which is all the data going to our cloud, but it's how we present it, either in a dashboard or to the public and visitors of the city as well. So we have our hub, transportation, compliance, mobile apps, we kind of do it all. As Eric said, manual counts is very inaccurate. It is a snapshot in time. It doesn't give you accurate data, it provides an average throughout that period. The only way to really clearly get accurate data is through sensors, technology to actually capture that data. The sensors that we provide we provide 2 types of different sensors, an in-ground sensor or battery-driven sensor, and a solar-powered sensor. The technology for those are exactly the same. Uses 3 types of technologies: magnetic, ambient light levels, and radio strength. We use all 3 so we get the most accurate detection of a vehicle. They can obviously have different mounting methods. The Intelli one, which is for phase 1 on the left there, is recessed about 4 inches into the ground, and all you basically see is the top. We want something that is relatively hidden and blends in with the environment. The solar ones you can mix and match as well in different elements. And it just shows you some of the mounting methods that you see. As you can see, the one in the middle is the one that we're going with for phase 1, and over time, you won't even notice that it's there. The sensors communicate through a radio frequency to what we call a gateway. This sits on a pole, which is solar powered, and uses a cellular network to talk directly to the cloud. From a hardware perspective, that is all the hardware that we need, is the sensors and the communication gateway. We also work with you to blend them into the environment. We understand that a nice white gateway sitting on a pole probably is not aesthetically pleasing, so we work with you to work out the colour and make that blend into the environment as much as possible. But again, it is just the equipment that we need to really detect the vehicles and collect that data. Our system is scalable. Doesn't matter if you have 10 sensors or 10,000 sensors, it doesn't matter. You can keep on adding on, not just sensors, but other functionality that we have as well, and it all collates into the one dashboard. In terms of the dashboard, again, there is so much data in here that we can provide, but it does provide real-time data for you to analyze. I'll skip to the next one. On the quick overview dashboard, you can see what the occupancy, live duration, and turnover of the spaces are doing. So you can make informed decisions, but it's also historical data that you can run reports on as well. In terms of the reporting, again, duration, occupancy, time of day, transactional lists, revenue if you want to. There's so much data within this dashboard that you have the ability to pull it out. It is as simple as selecting a report, selecting your parameter, which is your date range, and then clicking run. It's very, very easy, and you can export it to a number of different software solutions as well. Once you do that, you can get very quick graphical data out of the system, or if you want to, you can get very granular as well. Again, there is so much data in here, we can provide whatever you want. We also provide a very quick overview. This is really good for areas like public safety or public works, where they can see on a dashboard exactly how the area or the city is operating. It is broken down, we usually break it down into different zones, so you can see each zone and how it's operating in terms of occupancy. You can then basically move staff to deal with congestion issues or capacity issues within that particular area as well. Because the sensors collect real-time data down to the second, this is complete live data that you're actually be displaying as well. Just quickly in terms of the Laguna Beach and how they've used our data to make decisions. They have obviously annual festivals where they obviously get very congested. It is obviously only 2 roads in, the main PCH and Laguna Canyon Drive, and it gets obviously very congested. They've used historical data across that festival period to predetermine what their capacity needs are and then manage it from there. Then down into real-time data of how the actual city is actually operating and moving the enforcement officers around there to manage congestion throughout the city. So what we recommend from here is to collect some data over obviously a wide area, select the data, and see how that compares to what the city's goals are. Obviously, because it is real-time data, you're able to make incremental adjustments and see what the results are in complete real time. That's essentially the ability that we provide. But also, just from the data, it's not using data just to make certain business decisions. It also allows you to output it into visitors and residents to see as well. And as part of option 2, this is essentially what we can provide. Again, our data displays out to signs. Signs are not always aesthetically pleasing, particularly in a beautiful city like this. So we also provide applications, mobile applications for people to get very, very clear, decisive information around how the city is operating. We white label our apps. We don't put our names on anything. We want to make sure that people are comfortable in terms of using that app and it is branded to you. But what our sensors and data can provide is how the city is actually operating at any one time. We break the city down into different zones and we color code them. If it's green, tons of availability. If it's orange, it's getting a little bit full. Red, it is completely occupied. So you get a very good snapshot around where you want to go, what the availability looks like, and then you can click on that and get live directions to that particular parking lot as well. So it starts to allow people to understand what the city is doing and choose, obviously, the area they want to go to minimize congestion. just on that, you can also do search by business as well. So we would enter on all the businesses and you can find the available parking around that particular business. Again, turn-by-turn directions, simply from your phone. We can also break down the sensors into different types. Really good when you're searching for EV or ADA spaces. Again, you can clearly search for on the app as well. You can see the availability for those. Another great one is Find My Car. So this is where the ability of the app comes into play. When obviously you've exited your vehicle, we will drop a pin exactly where your vehicle is, and if you've maybe forgotten where you have parked, we'll be able to guide you back to your vehicle pretty safely. But it's not just a parking app, it also gives you the ability to provide information and click-through links to other transportation to get to and from the city as well. It's not just all about parking, it's about providing options. That's how flexible our app is. We can also provide other information around events, around other important information from the city, and make it more of a community type of app. So we have the ability to do that. If you already have a provider, we can just API all of our data into that app as well. Essentially, the data that we do provide, and this is a very important key, we don't do anything with it. We are not a company that sells data. Whatever data is within our system is yours. We do not do anything with it unless you want us to do something with it. So that's very key. We work with you as a partner rather than selling data. We're here to provide solutions to you and work with you to come up with better solutions for that. Again, we integrate, so if you have any existing systems that you use, we can API and we push and pull in real time with our data. And that's essentially it. It's a very slick system that provides a lot of key information for you to make pure business decisions based on the data that's provided. So I don't know if you've got any questions.
Yeah, I got questions.
I know parking is a very hot topic.
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, we're gonna do like a pilot to, just up and down the street.
Great.
But then we're going to basically tag every single parking space
I
in
believe so, in
Temecula?
terms of phase 2, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when we tag the parking, are we gonna do it in the parking garage too?
Yeah.
And so how do you put those sensors into a concrete, like our parking garage?
Yeah, so in terms of the garage, we actually use different technology.
Okay.
So if I go back to the first slide, essentially we use a LiDAR laser that is hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
Which
They use
then,
it at Pachanga.
Yeah, which then provides you a red light, green light visible availability for you to be able to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When it gets there.
All right. Anybody else got questions?
I have a few questions. One, the app, is that a free app that people would
Yes,
download?
it's part of the solution that we've provided.
And how would this integrate with the paid-for parking we have, the private parking lots we have in Old Town? Would those be something separate?
I believe so.
Yeah.
We're only going to track the parking spaces we have control of, just the public.
Yeah.
We are only going to track the public parking spaces, not the private.
And how would this work on the dirt lots we have as well? Are we able to do the sensors in the dirt lot?
But the dirt lots out front, those are going to be paved here shortly, so they'll be able to put them into there. And then as far as any other dirt lots, I'm not sure how.
We do have a solution for other dirt lots. We actually have what we call a plastic spike, which can actually hold the sensor within the ground, and we do that at Laguna Beach for gravel lots. Yeah, so we do have a solution for that.
Got that. Totally understood. And then just, I guess one holdup I have is I feel like the data will show that we need more parking in Old Town.
It may not. It really depends on what the data shows. It may just mean that you just need more management within certain areas. Being able to provide, and Laguna Beach had the same issue. People were going for the same parking spaces, congesting a particular area, and then working their way up from there. Since we've introduced the app over 6 years now, the congestion levels have dropped significantly because people use the app to see what is going on in real time, understand that I've got a 10-minute trip to get to the city. This area is showing red or orange, it's getting full. So direct themselves to an available parking space where they know there's going to be parking there. So it does have a better effect. It's about providing better utilization across the city rather than building more parking spaces.
Makes sense, thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if I could add to that, I think the other thing that's worth mentioning by utilizing technology to really evaluate timed parking, seasons of parking, weather, special events, all these things that we don't currently have access to. Some of the policy decisions that are currently in front of the City Council over the next 12, 24 months, 36 months, revolve around when is the right time, if there is a right time to institute timed parking on Front Street. When is the right time, if ever, to institute metered parking on Mercedes or elsewhere with public lots? So, I mean, I think from a staff's perspective, one of the things we see is we're going to be able to make some informed decisions, and we're going to make informed recommendations to the full City Council based on hard data. But until then, it's our gut instinct. It's the community saying things are bad, build more parking. But I think we're looking forward to hopefully seeing data and backing up some of those recommendations too.
And just to add on to that as well, in terms of our system, we provide the ability to introduce over time timed parking and paid parking as well through the exact same system. The sensors basically do all of that. We're starting off in, I suppose, what you call a light version, understanding how parking is operating first before introducing other methods within our system.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say thank you, because this is the second time I've gotten to be able to hear from you guys, and it's been really good. And like I told you last time, you had me at Find My Car.
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys. We're looking forward to it, just to seeing. I agree with you. I think people aren't going to go to one spot all the time, and we'll be able to spread it out. So it'll be interesting to see over time what that looks like. So thank you guys for your time.
Appreciate it.
So I'm curious now. You mentioned how these sensors can be turned into timed parking. Because I was in Riverside at an event, and I pulled into the parking space, and it's numbered, and there's like a kiosk, at the end of the block, and you went there and you put in your credit card and put in your spot number, and you put it in for 2 hours or whatever it was, the max parking. So does that sensor then recognize that vehicle is there and then start the timer, and then if there's a meter maid that's going around, she'll get signaled this car is over its parking. Is that something your system does?
Yes, so there's two ways. One, if a vehicle pulls onto a space and doesn't apply a payment within a particular period of time, we can flag that as an infringing vehicle. If a vehicle pulls onto a space, pays for 2 hours, and is still there after a particular grace period, again, we can flag that as an infringing vehicle. And with our sensors, we're down to the second.
Wow.
So they are real-time sensors. From there, what it does is the back-end system then tells an app that the enforcement person has. It flags a notification that this particular vehicle is now infringing and directs them to that particular space where they can take whatever action that they want to take.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
They can also search by a map and see the exact spaces that are infringing. So if there's 10 to their left, but there's 30 to their right, you might as well go to the right and deal with that area as well. So it gives the ability more for active enforcement or active management rather than passive walking around looking for vehicles that have overstayed.
Wow. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, no questions, just comments, and thanks again for the presentation. Councilmember Alexander and I are on the Old Town Steering Committee, and we saw this and wanted to really have a way for us to have data, right? We want to understand what's happening in Old Town, because we do have a lot of anecdotal, I can never find parking, or it's too busy, or I don't want to come to Old Town. So we now have a path forward that doesn't involve a couple people sitting in Old Town on a Saturday counting cars from 10 to noon. Like, we have really granular data it's going to be fantastic. And I think I said in the subcommittee, I'm really excited to get the keys to that dashboard to look at it and see really what's going on. We started talking about paid parking, and I really want to caution that conversation. We're not talking about paid parking right now. Maybe not even ever, depending on how we how this plays out. So I don't want anyone listening to this to hear these conversations like, oh, they're paying, you have to pay to park in Old Town now. So like, let's just be realistic. We're trying to capture data, and we're trying to understand what's going on in Old Town, so we can make informed decisions. Parking is a public good, and if it's not managed, well, it doesn't work well for everyone. So we need to be able to try to manage it, and this is a way for us to have information to make good policy decisions to manage our parking in Old Town. So I'm really excited for it. I think once we get the pilot rolled out and we get kind of understand what's going on, and we can work with private lots, right? Like you brought up some of those concerns about, does this go onto private property? Well, we're not going to put it there. But if someone owns a private lot and they wanted to manage it that way, that would probably be a good business's decision for them, right? And so we will encourage some of the private lots to do these things as well. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope my colleagues agree.
No other questions? Then I'll accept a motion.
I'll move the item.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. You guys are good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that passes 4-0. So now we're off to items for future agenda. Does anybody have anything? Seeing none. City manager's report.
Mr. Mayor, I have just two items. One is more just an observation as I'm sitting here listening to candidates, very qualified candidates interviewing for your 7 vacancies on the commissions. And I couldn't help but just be struck by how excited and motivated members of our community are to join the City of Temecula team. And I think all of us should and are, rightfully proud that we get to call this our employer, and we're assigned here, or we're elected here, or we're working here. And I just didn't want that to get lost, because it is a privilege to live here, and it is a privilege to work here, and we work incredibly hard to provide a high quality of life, and to see and listen to so many people that want to be a part of what we get to do. I found that to be incredibly cool. So I wanted to mention that to the council. On a much more somber note, I have a couple of slides I'm going to bring, and this is kind of by way of a PSA, and I'm giving Temecula a heads up. We have some necessary freeway on-ramp closures that there's just no way to avoid this. It's part of our $133 million French Valley Parkway Phase 2 project that's going on the 15. We have a great contractor. We're making great progress. We're on schedule, maybe even ahead of schedule. There's just a couple of closures that, again, are necessary. And this is my first opportunity to sort of bring this to the public. But I wanted everyone to know a few things. These dates that you see on the screen, they're pretty solid, but the exact start and stop could fluctuate. And so we're actually encouraging folks to track this on our project website as we get a little closer to this. And I'll be talking about this at our next council meeting in December. We'll also be mounting a very aggressive public information campaign through all of our social media platforms. We know this is going to be disruptive. We're asking for your patience. We're asking for tolerance. And so we just want to bring it to your attention. So the first, between January 12th and February 14th, westbound on Winchester, the on-ramp to northbound 15 will require closure. That's almost for 30 days. I don't want anyone to think that the contractor is working 8 to 5. The contractor will be working 24/7 during those 30 days to get all the necessary ramp work done during those 30 days. Then you can see there, then we will remobilize the loop ramp as you go eastbound on Winchester. Again, the on-ramp only to northbound 15 will require a full closure from February 18th to March 14th. And I think if we go to the next slide, you can kind of get a visual here once you get oriented. There, again, these are the on-ramps only, and this is showing, I believe, the detour route. And yes, it may be a little counterintuitive that we're sending people southbound that want to go northbound. That is just a requirement that we have with Caltrans. We know folks will find the path of least resistance and find their way north, whether that be on Yanez or Jefferson up to the next on-ramp as well. So consider this just a prelude of what's to come. Again, there's no real easy way around this. We didn't want this to be protracted for months and months and months. So we're just going to take our medicine and hold our nose here and do it for 30 days. So happy to answer any questions, or if the council has anything technical they want to ask tonight, I know myself or Ron can try to answer that.
I did, maybe not so much a question because I already know the answer, but we kind of pushed this past the holiday season, right? Like the Caltrans was essentially like, hey, we'd like to do this now, and like pump the brakes, literally.
Yeah.
And push it back as far as we can.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, this date has slid a couple of times, and it was originally going to be around the holidays, obviously impacting the Promenade Mall with the on-ramp closure during the holidays isn't something that business-friendly or anything that we wanted to do. The contractor we have, not Caltrans, it's the contractor's schedule. They agreed to move this to after the first of the year, which we gladly accepted and have held firm while they're continuing to do other work. So we feel like this January, February window is about as good as it's going to get. But again, the public information campaign will be robust. Again, I'll talk about it in December, and then you'll start to see this coming out in all forms of media before we get too deep into the holidays in December too.
All right, city attorney report.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right. So I am going to adjourn this in the honor of Tom Edwards, who was the first husband of Temecula 5 times, married to Mary Ann Edwards, who was our mayor 5 times. And that yellow Jeepster, he actually helped me fix because I had a major electrical issue, and he's an electrical engineer, and he was fantastic. So gonna miss him terribly. He was a great guy. His wife calls him the professor, and I totally agree because he knew everything about anything. So, so we're gonna adjourn tonight's meeting in the honor of Tom Edwards.